What you're about to watch starts like a routine police testimony. But don't let that fool you. Every answer this officer gives slowly builds a case that could completely change the outcome in court. Stay with this one because the smallest details end up becoming the biggest evidence.
Mr. Foreman, you waive roll call of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Logsdon, you waive roll call of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Logsdon, you can call your next witness.
Thank you. I'm going to call Sergeant T.J. Dixon.
Officer. You swear affirm the testimony you're to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. Once you get seated, you may ask.
Sir, will you state your name for the record and where you're employed?
My name is Dennis Newton, Jr. I go by DJ Newton. I'm employed with the Litchfield Police Department.
Are you able to scoot up any closer to the mic? And what town do you live in?
I live in Litchfield.
And what is your current rank?
Sergeant.
And what kind of training do you have to become an officer?
I graduated from the Department of Criminal Justice Training, Class 475. It's a basic training academy. Consists of all things to become a law enforcement officer. Certainly the law. Then you've got driving, fighting, shooting. That's kind of the rhetoric people put it under. The legal portion of it, the statutes, how to conduct yourself in a manner that's professional, courteous, while maintaining the law.
And have you been trained in standardized field sobriety tests?
Yes, sir.
Did that occur at basic training or sometime else?
Basic training.
And why did you choose to become a police officer?
I originally wanted to be a game warden. I have a passion for hunting and fishing, and I think society without law and order would be chaos. That was my dream. I went to college, got a degree in forestry. I had to have an agricultural degree to become a game warden. Things just didn't work out in that fashion, and the Litchfield Police Department happened to be hiring. I applied, given that it was law enforcement, and thankfully was hired approximately 8 years ago.
So you've been in law enforcement all for 8 years.
December 21st, 2015, yes, sir.
And now, back September 23rd, 2018 into the early hours of September 24th, 2018, you recall that time frame?
Yes, sir.
And who were you employed with then?
The Grayson County Sheriff's Office.
And now you're employed with?
The Litchfield Police Department.
And what shift do you work?
I work third shift.
Did you work last night?
I did not, thankfully.
Okay. Did you have to work tonight?
Correct. 8 to 6 a.m.
Now, you said that you recalled that time frame. Did you answer a call concerning a driver slumped over that night?
Yes, sir.
And where did you respond to investigate?
Center Court Convenience Store.
So, Center Court is a convenience store. You have gas as well?
Correct.
And where is that located?
It's located around the 1400 block of Brandenburg Road.
Is Brandenburg Road also known as Main Street?
Some maps show it as North Main Street, yes.
And you said, is that in Litchfield?
Correct.
And Litchfield is in what county?
Grayson County.
Now, is Center Court still an operating business to your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
And what's behind Center Court?
There is apartments directly behind Center Court, actually in the same parking lot.
And what's to the right of Center Court?
If you're staring at the station, to the right is the Beehive Senior Living.
And to the left?
There is what used to be a car wash. It's kind of changed hands a few times. But there's houses further north, neighborhoods along the main drag.
Past that car wash, whatever building.
Correct. There's a neighborhood street directly parallel with that building.
Our approach with
Yes.
No objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to show you a photograph. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
That is Center Court gas station.
Now, is that photo fair and accurate, at least as far as the building and the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
But things have changed in 5 years.
I believe it was a marathon at the time, but yes.
So is this fair and accurate photo of at least the building and how the parking is laid out?
Yes, sir.
We offered it in evidence as Comments Exhibit 1.
You said no objection, sir?
Your Honor, the only objection that we have is what counsel has already stipulated to with the witness, is that that is not exactly how it presumably looked 5 years ago. I understand it's probably an accurate representation of what it looks like today, but we'd just like to submit to the jury that it probably looked slightly different, or potentially vastly different, I don't know, 5 years ago.
To be introduced as Comments Exhibit number 1.
Take that back. I published the jury.
Yes. Sir, Mark.
Now, when you had arrived out there at Center Court on that night, did you, as a sheriff's deputy, you wearing a body camera?
Not at that time.
Okay. Did you have a body camera?
We had a trial period that had actually ended the month prior at the sheriff's office, but we did not have body cameras at that time.
Okay. So the trial, were you part of that trial?
I was.
Okay. And so then after, so a month before they took it away? Or?
Correct. It was a year-long period. I had just been with the sheriff's office since March of that year, and once Axon allows you to have them for a year to test them out, in order to sell cameras, but our period had ended the previous month.
Okay. And did you have a car-mounted camera?
No, sir.
Do you now? With Litchfield Police Department?
Car-mounted, no. Body camera, yes.
And so what's the first thing you did when you arrived?
I observed a green and colored Ford F-250 pickup truck, made contact with the vehicle. Given the call, it could have been, a welfare check. It could have been someone asleep. It could have been someone passed out, overdosing, etc.
Okay. And was the person who slumped over, did they rouse when you walked up there?
Not immediately.
Okay. And so what did you do to rouse them?
I don't recall exactly. I'm sure the vehicle was running, and it's a diesel, so it was rather loud. I presumably pecked on the door or the window and maybe made some commands in order to attempt to wake the subject.
Okay. So you said that the vehicle was running.
Correct.
Were the headlights on?
Yes, sir.
And in the back, what's the difference between tail lights and brake lights?
So tail lights, when a vehicle's lights are illuminated, the tail lights are on. They are to be seen from a specified distance per statute. However, when they brake light, the brake switch is initiated inside of the vehicle. They become brighter and illuminate more so to alert the subject or the individual behind them that the brakes are being utilized. Additionally, almost all vehicles have what we call a third brake light, which is in the middle of the vehicle at the back. That third brake light also illuminates with the two rear lights. While the tail lights are illuminated, just the rear lights will be illuminated. However, when the brake switch is initiated, the third brake light will come on.
Somebody's got to put on the pedal, the lights in the back get brighter.
Correct.
And then a third.
Objection leading.
Sustained.
And so, is that third brake light, is it always on?
No, sir.
Objection, Your Honor, basis of knowledge.
Overruled, you can toss him on it. Seems to have some knowledge.
Do you have a lot of, or do you have any experience in determining taillights versus brake lights being on in your job?
I've been on third shift nearly 8 years. I've seen a lot of taillights and brake lights, yes, sir.
So, was the third brake light on when you approached?
Yes, sir.
Objection, Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes. Please.
This witness has even testified that almost all vehicles have a third brake light. What this witness has not testified to was that the vehicle in this case had a third brake light.
Well, he did testify that it had a third brake
No,
light.
he has never said that this vehicle's car has a third brake light that would have been optional. All he has testified to is the third brake light was not on. We don't know that it had one. And I don't know that he has the expertise on Ford vehicles to testify.
I thought he said the third brake light was on.
Was what?
He said the third brake light was on. That's what he testified to. Was it not?
Is that what he's testifying to?
That's the whole thing he testified to, yeah.
Okay, then I misheard his testimony. I
Okay.
apologize.
But you can go off white noise. Go ahead, Mr. Larson.
Okay, so when you approached, do you recall whether or not the driver's side window was up or down?
Upon my approach, I do not recall.
And how did, first of all, do you recognize the driver in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir. Seated to my right with his counsel.
Okay, is he in the middle?
Correct.
Okay, just the record reflect that Sergeant Newton identified the defendant. Now, how did he respond?
Originally, he didn't respond. When he did finally come to, he was rather lethargic in his movements. He was kind of looking around as if he was confused as to where he was or what was going on.
And did you tell him to get out of the truck?
I asked him out of the vehicle, yes.
And did you have to open the door, or did he open the door?
Originally, he tried to roll the window back up, and then he opened the door and stepped out of the vehicle.
And when he opened the door, were you able to be in such a position to view where his feet were?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where was his feet?
I observed his foot on the brake pedal of the vehicle.
In the truck that was running?
Correct.
And did he exit?
Yes.
And how well did he exit? The truck?
Not well, rather uncoordinated, unsteady on his feet.
And did you detect any kind of smell?
I detected the odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from his breath and person at that time.
As part of your investigation, you asked him how he got to the center court store that night?
Yes, sir.
And what was his response?
He stated to me that he had gotten a ride.
When he got out of the truck, what was his appearance like?
It appeared that he was somewhat unkept. His clothes were dirty. Boots, I believe he had boots, jeans, and maybe a t-shirt on. Just like I said, rather unkept and disheveled, I suppose.
And you were talking about your training earlier. Were you trained on how to perform standardized field sobriety tests?
Yes, sir.
And do you have experience in performing standardized field sobriety tests on drivers suspected of intoxication?
Yes, sir.
And in general, what are these tests aimed at?
The field sobriety tests are what they call divided attention or psychophysical test, meaning you're asking someone to conduct certain movements while also thinking about maintaining a count or something along those lines. Two things at once. Multitasking.
Based on your training experience, is it important that a driver be able to divide their attention appropriately?
Absolutely. I would say that's likely the most divided attention task we conduct on a day-to-day basis.
So these tests help you determine how well they can divide their attention in that step. And really, this test, the name test, is a misnomer, isn't it?
Correct.
It doesn't produce a pass or fail, correct?
Absolutely. It's the totality of the circumstances. None of the field sobriety tests are a pass-fail.
What, if anything, do you note, say, in your citation, or you make note of during the performance of these tests?
I make note of my observation of Mr. Allen upon my approach, how he exited the vehicle, and then during the test I observed for clues that were, according to the NHTSA manual, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Those clues are observed for, and you keep tally of those to help you with your decision. Again, totality of the circumstances. It's not a certain number that has to be reached or along those lines.
Clues of what?
Clues of impairment.
Did the defendant attempt any standardized field sobriety test that night?
Yes.
And what was the first standardized field sobriety test he submitted to?
Horizontal gaze nystagmus.
And is there a shorter form of that?
It's often referenced as HGN.
And what can you tell me about this test in general?
In general, there's 6 clues, 3 clues, 2, one for each eye, 2 eyes. You're looking for nystagmus, which is an involuntary jerking of the eyes. To give an analogy, I like to use it similar to maybe windshield wipers on a dry windshield. They jerk on a dry windshield. They may jerk back and forth, whereas on a wet windshield, when they move smoothly. Or
How do you get the eyes to move?
I place a stimulus 12 to 15 inches in front of the subject's face. I ask them to keep their head still, feet together.
Sorry, I'm pause you for a second. Stimulus. What are you talking about when you place a stimulus?
I typically use my pointer finger on my left hand because I'm right-handed to keep my firearm away from the subject. But it can be a pin or a light, something of that nature.
Something for them to follow?
Correct.
Okay. And so, please continue.
Again, I initially asked the subject to stand with their feet together and hands down to their sides, observing for any type of swaying or lack of balance issues at that time. To begin the test, you always conduct a pre-check. You're looking for equal tracking, equal pupil size, or resting nystagmus, which could all indicate a possible brain injury or head trauma, something along those lines at that time.
Do you look at their pupils?
Yes, sir.
And why do you look at their pupils?
Well, again, it could indicate a possible injury at that time, but it also, there are 7 major drug categories, all of which can have a different effect on the subject's pupils, i.e. dilated, normal, or constricted.
What about unequal pupil size?
Unequal pupil size typically could lead an officer to understand maybe a possible head injury, and there is times where a polydrug use, meaning 2 types of drugs within a different category, having an effect on that subject at the same time, their central nervous system.
So if there's an accident and the pupils are unequal, that kind of negates using this test.
Yes, I would rather call EMS to ensure that there's not some kind of medical emergency or brain bleed, something along those lines.
What if they're wearing glasses or contacts? Do you check that?
Anytime the subject's wearing glasses or a hat, I ask them to remove it. Contacts, you ask if they're wearing contacts. At the time in which these tests were validated, hard contacts were a thing, and there was a suggestion that maybe it would have an effect on being able to see nystagmus readily, but I don't believe there's any scientific basis behind that.
And you keep using nystagmus, and I'm sorry. I just want to know, what does that mean?
Nystagmus, by definition, as what I was trained, is the involuntary jerking of the eye.
So along the path, you're looking for when it jerks.
Correct.
In different ways.
Yeah, so these are your eyes, you're looking for nystagmus. On the initial pass, you're looking for equal tracking, but you're also looking for lack of smooth pursuit. Smooth pursuit being right to left, starting with the left eye. If you observe some nystagmus on a smooth pursuit, you'll be left to right, so on and so forth. Nystagmus will have a small jerking motion in the eye as they follow the stimulus along.
And did you do pre-check on the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how was his pupil size?
Normal.
And did you check to see if he was wearing glasses or contacts?
He was not wearing glasses. I have notated in my report that he was not wearing contacts at the time.
You noted in your report?
Yes, sir.
And so tell me about when you administer this test, and tell me how the defendant performed.
So again, when I administer the test, I first ask the subject to stand with their feet together and their hands down to their sides. I instruct them, to follow the stimulus with their eyes only while keeping their head still. Obviously conducting the pre-checks. The first clue that I'm looking for is lack of smooth pursuit, again in both eyes. You are to check the left eye first. Once you begin the stimulus, to my right, that subject's left.
I'm sorry, I'm asking specifically about this defendant, about his performance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I observed lack of smooth pursuit and distinct and sustained nystagmus in both left and right eyes.
You said lack of smooth pursuit
Correct.
in the left and right eye?
Correct.
And can you show us with your hands what that means?
Again, as it's following the stimulus, the eyes would have a small jerking motion as the stimulus is being tracked back and forth.
And the distinct and sustained nystagmus, is that the maximum deviation, is that the same thing?
Correct, maximum deviation. So the stimulus is taken out to the farthest point where there's no white left in the corner of the eye. You hold that stimulus there for at least a minimum of 4 seconds time. There is, at times, when they first get there, even someone who's possibly not under the influence will have a jerking because it will stop. That's why you hold it for 4 seconds. At that 4 second mark, you'll start to see the involuntary jerking of the eye and nystagmus occurring.
And how many possible clues are available in the HGN test?
6.
And how many did the defendant show based on his performance of this test?
4.
Outside those clues, how did he just perform in general on the test?
Instructions had to be repeated several times, Mr. Allen. He moved his head after he was instructed not to while trying to follow the stimulus, and he was observed to sway while attempting to balance during the test.
And let's move on. Did you perform, what's the next test you performed with him, the standardized field sobriety test?
The next test I performed is not standardized field sobriety test. This is an ARIDE, Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement test that I was trained on.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a moment here for this. We talked about there's a difference between the standardized field sobriety test and then there's ARIDE test.
Correct.
When were you trained on the ARIDE test?
I don't recall exactly, but it was in the year 2017.
And what kind of test is the ARIDE type test?
So there's 2 tests that I was trained on, lack of convergence and the modified Romberg balance test.
And do you recall having to take a test on standardized field sobriety test before you even got to take the ARIDE class?
Absolutely. If you do not conduct the test in an efficient manner, they actually send you home.
So the standardized field sobriety tests are the base.
Correct.
These are added.
Correct.
And just a question, I want to go back for a second on the HGN. How is that test relevant to driving and impairment?
So the HGN, you're looking for, again, nystagmus. I mentioned earlier there's 7 major drug categories. The 3 that would cause nystagmus are depressants, inhalants, and dissociative anesthetics. You're looking for possible impairment of possibly those 3 drug categories. Nystagmus is known to occur naturally at times, but again, that's why you go for the totality of the circumstances. You don't look at one test or a certain number of clues within an impairment investigation.
And you do other tests?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, but you said depressants. Is alcohol a depressant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's With the A-ride test, what was the next test that you performed?
Lack of convergence.
Lack of convergence. And so do you normally follow up the HGN with this lack of convergence?
I do, because it's the same beginning instructions to remain feet together, hands down to your side.
And tell me what you do with grid.
So again, the stimulus is placed in front of the subject's face, near their nose, 12 to 15 inches away. I instruct the subject that I'm going to go around their head twice and come close to their nose, but I'm not going to touch their nose, and I advise them to try not to flinch. They're focusing on the stimulus as it goes around the head in a counterclockwise motion. You converge on the nose, at which point you're looking for the convergence of the eyes. I guess for pictorial, maybe crossing of your eyes. But someone possibly under the influence of depressants, inhalants, dissociative anesthetics, or cannabis in this situation will have a lack of convergence, meaning one or both of the eyes will move in and converge on the stimulus, but then it will begin to float away as the stimulus gets closer to the nose.
Did you discover anything as part of your investigation using this test?
I observed Mr. Allen to have lack of convergence in his right eye.
What was the next test you performed?
The next test was the walk and turn test.
And what is the walk and turn?
Walk and turn is a standardized field sobriety test. There is 8 clues for the walk and turn test in total. There's actually 2, phases, I'll say, for the walk and turn test. There's the instruction stage where you're looking for 2 clues, and then there is the walking stage where you're looking for a total of 6 clues.
And so, how do you instruct someone to perform the the walk and turn test?
I always start by asking if there's any medical ailments that may prevent them from conducting the test. Knees, back, ankles, something that would prevent them from doing it. Mr. Allen did indicate that he had had both of his knees replaced at the time, and I always advise them that I'm going to demonstrate the test, and if it's something they feel like they can conduct, that's totally on them. Again, these tests are voluntary.
And did he, after that warning, did he agree to submit to the test?
So I instructed the test, demonstrated the test for Mr. Allen. He agreed to conduct the test, yes.
Okay. And what was the first instruction as far as what he had to do to begin the test?
So I asked them if there's not a line handy, like a parking line or something along those lines, I'll ask them to imagine a line in front of them, place their left foot on that line, put their right foot in front of their left in a heel-to-toe manner, and their hands down to their side. It's important to look at their feet, count out loud, maintain the heel-to-toe.
Got to count out loud and do what?
Look at their feet, count out loud, and maintain the heel-to-toe fashion while they're conducting the test.
Okay, so they have to count as they step heel-to-toe.
Correct. That's not a clue, but it is noted typically whether they do that, whether they count out loud as instructed.
And go ahead.
If I could add, it's important once in that position, I instruct them to remain in that position until they're instructed otherwise and confirm that they understand what I have just asked them to do, which Mr. Allen did.
And so, how many steps forward do they have to take heel-to-toe?
They're instructed to take 9 heel-to-toe steps.
And how many steps did Mr. Allen take?
He took 14 up and 14 back.
Wow. That is a huge difference from the instructions. The courtroom is hearing mistake after mistake, and it's starting to paint a much bigger picture.
Did he count out loud like he was supposed to?
He failed to count out loud.
And how many clues of possible impairment out of the 8 did you observe during the study?
I observed both clues in the instruction stage, which are unable to maintain balance, meaning he was unable to maintain the heel-to-toe fashion as instructed to do so, and also starts too soon, which meaning before I instructed him to begin, Mr. Allen attempted to start walking.
And what's a one-leg stand?
One-leg stand is the 3rd standardized field sobriety test.
And did the defendant submit to the one-leg stand?
He did not.
And did he say why?
I don't remember exactly why. I would presume for his knees. Again, you put out that disclaimer that if there's anything knees back, anything prevents you from conducting a balance test. I always demonstrate the test and advise them they can have the option to complete it if they feel like they can.
But he didn't take the test.
He did not take the test.
And then, what was the next test that you administered?
The next test was the modified Romberg balance test.
And is that a standardized skills sobriety test, or is that an A-RIDE test? Or
That is an A-RIDE test.
Okay. And what were the instructions for that modified Romberg balance test?
Mr. Allen was asked to stand with his feet together, his hands down to the side. When I asked him to tilt his head back first and then close his eyes, at which point I asked him to estimate the passing of 30 seconds time. When he feels like 30 seconds has passed, I simply ask him to lift his head, open his eyes, and instruct me to stop, and that I'll be keeping a stopwatch while he's conducting the test.
So you stand there, close your eyes, tilt your head back, and then silently you have to approximate 30 seconds.
Correct.
Okay. And so, is there anything to keep someone from just, in their head saying 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi?
However, whatever fashion they wish to do so.
Okay. And how close to 30 seconds did the defendant get?
Mr. Allen estimated 30 seconds in 47 seconds time.
The testimony is getting more serious now. Every test the officer describes adds another layer, and the defense is running out of easy explanations.
Okay. And does that indicate anything in the testing?
So, based on A-RIDE training, someone who estimates 30 seconds passing in more than 30 seconds time with a grace period of approximately 5 seconds would indicate a slow internal clock, they call it, meaning that someone possibly could be on, again, depressants, inhalants, or dissociative anesthetics, possibly cannabis.
I mean, in your experience, do people ever get close, or are they always way off? Or?
Most of the time,
Your Honor, relevance has nothing to do with the bearing of this case.
I would say, I think it's important to the jury to know whether or not, in reference to the 47 seconds versus 30 seconds, is this a normal thing? Is this way off?
I'll answer that. Go ahead, Officer.
47 seconds, estimating 30 seconds and 47 seconds is, to me, a significant difference. Someone who is possibly not under the influence, again, within that grace period, not everyone's going to count exactly the same. They're going to talk slower, they're going to think, things of that nature. But
So generally 5 seconds either way is pretty safe.
that's kind of the grace period, yes, sir. Someone who may be under the influence of a stimulant may count 30 seconds in as quick as 10. I've had, so.
And what is a PBT?
Preliminary breath test.
And not just the name, what does it feel like?
Can we approach, Judge?
Yes, sir. Likewise, please.
I just want to make sure that counsel is not eliciting testimony as to what the number was.
Yeah, that's correct.
I just want to make sure that.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can we go off white noise? Go ahead, Mr. Hodgson.
Thank you. So in our world, non-officers, what is a PBT?
Well,